What's up, savages? It's travel day, which means there's a bunch of nerds getting on planes to go and compete at Major League Gaming's Columbus event. There are thousands of people going to be lined up waiting to play in Dota 2 and Call of Duty Ghosts. On top of that, people are getting there not only by planes, but they're cramming into cars such as Priuses and minivans. Why are both of those cars still on the road? I have no idea. That's not for me to decide, but people do it. And plus, you got to save a little gas money. You split it 7 ways. You got 18 people in a minivan. You're good. Fuck it. Moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gandhi's Thoughts, brought to you by My Nutrition. I am Gandhi, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 12 seeds, and we're going to go through a little bit of some theoretical matchups here. Now, I've got some matches highlighted in my head that I'm going to have to walk you through, so I'm going to keep referring back to this graphic right here. Right here, this is going to be the top 12 seeds. Now, how Major League Gaming Columbus is actually going to work here is that we have the 12 seeds ironed in. These players are geared and ready to go. Now, in order for the bracket to actually work, there has to be 3 or 4 more seeds, obviously, because we need 16. So those teams actually have to fight through the open bracket. Now, it's going to be a double elimination in that open bracket, but we got a lot of stacked teams. I don't even know how many people are in there, to be perfectly honest, or what teams are there, but the couple I do know is going to be Vanquish. Vanquish does not have a top 12 seed. They are going to be a humongous threat going through that open bracket. I feel bad for anyone who has to meet up with them. And then we have 3 Halo teams. Now, like I said, I know shit. Oh, I guess there's SB, whatever that stands for, but I don't know anything else about the open teams. I don't mean to do you guys a disservice. It's just Curse Las Vegas didn't play any of you guys, so I didn't have any other ways of figuring out who you were. I'm still new to the scene. Relax. Pump the brakes. But we do have Primal FPS, which is going to be Formal's team. They're great dudes. It's Formal, Enable, Ace, and Snakebite. They're going to be looking good. They're from Halo coming over. Then you have Turning Point, which is Ninja, Mick Monster, and Devin Platinum. They're also going to be good. And then last but certainly not least, we have BTH, Ogre, Maniac, Goofy, Richie Hines. So we have 3 Halo teams coming through the open bracket. Who's going to do the best? I'm going to let you know right now it's going to be Primal FPS. I think BTH is kind of screwed. I think the only one who's good on their team is Ogre 2 moving forward. Now, let's go into the big dogs, shall we? This is what everyone wants to hear about. So, as we take a look at this bracket here, obviously, for the top 4 seeds, which is going to be Complexity, Unite, Curse Las Vegas, and Optic Gaming, we will not know who they face first in the pro bracket. That will be obviously decided once the open bracket has ran its course. But what we do know is that those top 4 seeds are the top 4 seeds for a reason. They are experienced, and I'm going to go ahead and advance them up in my bracket and assume that they win their first round matchups with not too much of a problem. Obviously, if Optic Gaming goes up against Vanquish, I think it could be a very, very good matchup. But there's something that I've learned in my short time being in Call of Duty, and that's for whatever reason, no matter what Optic Gaming looks like online, you can't take that and apply it to LAN. These guys are veterans. They've been playing for a very long time. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you're Optic D, right? It's not. It's because I remember Anaheim, everyone's like, oh, they just play Minecraft, and they came out and they got third. They know how to perform at events. And then the time they did very, very well online and went to Gfinity, it didn't look good for them, right? And then they came out at Full Sail and they got second. So these are the little things that you have to take into consideration. So I'm going to go ahead and advance all top 4 seeds into the next round. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit interesting here. As we take a look, Team Envious is still carrying on their legacy of getting the worst brackets possible. They have one of the hardest roads to get to the finals almost of all time. So Team Envious is going to be starting off their first round of the pro bracket, taking on Curse New York. Curse New York is a very, very, very good team. We played them last night, and by us, I gotta stop saying we because it's not my team. I'm just coaching it. But Curse Las Vegas played them last night. And I sat in on it, I was coaching a little bit, and they are extremely good at domination. They understand blitz, and they still bring a mean search and destroy game. So Envious is going to have their work cut out for them. Will Envious advance? I think so. I think, as much as it pains me to say it, I think it's going to take a lot from Curse New York to come out and beat Team Envious. I mean, Envy is this elite caliber team for a reason. They're going to bring the noise. I mean, I've never once counted out Big Baby Merc. Merc, I love you, buddy. You know that. I've never counted him out. Rambo's like my brother from another mother. We share the same last name. I get 20 tweets a day asking if we're related. We're not. Moving forward, I think Envious is going to move forward. I think the one thing that can destroy them, though, is if they look too far ahead over Curse New York and they're just eager to play Optic Gaming, right? Like, everyone wants that matchup, right? It's like Optic taking on Envy, like the two fucking juggernaut teams with fan bases going bonkers, right? But the one thing about tournaments is you have to understand you can't overlook any team. So I think that is going to be Envy's Achilles heel, but I'm still going to advance them, taking a 3-2 victory. Moving down, we have TK taking on Epsilon Esports. The one thing I will say right off the break here is I have no idea what to expect from Epsilon. I don't think anyone does. The Europeans have always been crafty with their strategies, at least from what I've gathered. And, you know, a lot of the NA teams aren't going to waste their time playing that because the connection's just so bad, right? It's just worthless. You're not even getting practice. So when I think about it, I think TK, it'll be interesting, and TK is going to basically be the guinea pigs for NA teams to figure out how Epsilon's actually playing. But I think TK is going to advance. TK is a team who, since they've joined, went second, third. Like, second, third, fourth. They are very, very good players. I mean, Sharp's been around for ages, right? Like, they're very seasoned. They know what they're doing. And I think TK's coming out, and they have a lot to prove. I mean, Neslo, everyone sees it. He has the fire in his eyes. He wants to win more than anyone else, I think, on this circuit. And that's pretty crazy to think about, because not only did he come in and he saw immediate success, but he's been grinding. He's consistently putting in the time. And so TK is going to be a scary team. So who do I advance here? I got to go TK, obviously. I have to go TK. I mean, is it possible Epsilon's going to take it? Absolutely. I just have no idea what to expect from him, and that's like the most important thing here. Is right? They have the surprise factor, and that's always scary. They could come out and just absolutely sloop every team, but we just don't know. So you have to go from what you've seen. Will it be a close series? Absolutely. I think Epsilon proved that at Gfinity that they're here to hang. Moving down the list here, we have Culebra, and I said that, I think, right. If not, whatever, don't care. Culebra Gaming Fuse. I thought it was Kevlar for a long time, but apparently it's not, so whatever, fuck it. We have Culebra Gaming taking on Soar. Now, unfortunately, here, it was originally supposed to be Soar taking on FaZe, and then something crazy happened, and then Soar got the 10th seed, and TCM got the 9th seed, and fuck it. Right? Like, I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. Whatever it is, okay? So, moving that up, I think Soar won the 5K series online. They look extremely good. They picked up Wheats, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, whatever it was, and they immediately start seeing success. Now, Soar, I have to say, I barely watched them play. I really did. Besides 5K series, I never watched them play. But I do know that Soar are straight savages. I mean, Methods he's like the cutest little kid in the world. Like, he's that kid who, when he was 7 years old, shaves a part of his dog's hair off and, like, glues it on his chest just so he can feel like he's older. He's hysterical. So, I think Fuse, I've never watched him once at all. But I think Soar is going to go ahead and advance up there. And I think Soar is kind of like my dark horse for this event. A lot of people don't put too much stock into online, but the thing about it is I think Soar is just ready. I think they're tournament prepped. I think they're coming in super hot to this event. And so now, as we take a look here, we are down to the final teams here. So this is going to be into the top 8. So the second round here, so basically how it's going to look is we are going to have Complexity taking on FaZe. We are going to have Unite versus Soar. We have Curse Las Vegas taking on TK. And Optic versus Envious. That is going to be winner's bracket round number 2. Once again, Complexity versus FaZe. Okay, we're going to go ahead and jump into this one. Complexity versus FaZe. This is going to be a humongous match. FaZe have been the grinders. They've been putting in consistent amount of time, but they are going up against one of the scariest teams in professional Call of Duty, period. And that's Complexity. Do I like Complexity? Yes, they're actually really good friends of mine. You know, I like every single one of them. It's just, it is who it is. You know, they're monsters. They are absolute monsters. They figure out games. They've broken games. They were the ones who figured out the Blitz glitch. Like, fucking, they're savages. It's what they are, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say they advance. I will never count Complexity out of anything less than the winners semifinals ever. Period. They're just, I think they've earned that right. And if anyone puts them below the winners bracket finals in any prediction, as of now, I think you're delusional. I really do. So, Complexity moves on into the winners bracket semifinals to await their opponent. Now, Unite Gaming. Okay, Unite is a team. Not only are they second place, according to points, but Unite is a very passionate team. They are coached by Maven. My duo is coaching the second seed. How dare he? He was supposed to be wearing a Gandhi jersey sitting in the fucking front row, but I get it. Okay, Maven, it's war. This is considered war. Now, Unite Gaming, although they are coached by a man whose hairline is almost as bad as Crim 6's communication, I'm not sure about Unite. Unite is a team that they're filled with so much passion, but with that passion comes that little bit of, like, not stubbornness, but they let their passion get the best of them in some scenarios. Like, I can't tell you how many times I saw tweets like, I hate this team. Like, my teammates are clueless. Like, it's like, what? Who says that? I think they'll be fine on land, but Unite has a very strong competitor in Soar coming up in this winner's bracket round 2. Unite taking on Soar, I give the advantage to Soar. Soar, they're all happy-go-lucky. They're all ready to play together. Unite, they weren't able to make a couple of the series because of game battles points and just lack of, like, you know, communication between their teammates. I think they have their work cut out for them. I think it's going to be a hell of a series. It's probably going to end up going 3-2 in favor of Soar. But the key for Unite here is to actually just work together. These guys are fucking insane. Saints may be one of the best players in this game currently. He's a great guy, too. I just don't trust the chemistry of this team. If one thing goes wrong, I think they're going to start bitching amongst each other and to each other. And this is where Maven comes in, right? Like, I know. Maven's basically like the father, right? He is the granddad of this team. He's going to be sitting there like, oh, you don't make me get the fucking switch out. He pulls out the wooden spoon and starts beating them, right? But it's really his job to keep their heads in the game. So if you see them start crumbling, go to an Astro listen in and see, or Turtle Beach team chat, whatever the fuck, and see what is happening. Because as soon as they're losing, there's going to be bickering. And I want to hear if Maven's going to put them in their place or not. I'm assuming he will, because Maven doesn't take no bitch assery, but we'll see. So I am going to have Soar moving forward. So right now in the semifinals, we have Complexity awaiting their team to play against in the semifinals. And we have Soar awaiting their guy. In the bottom here, we have Curse Las Vegas taking on TK. This is going to be where bias comes in, and I can't look at it objectively. I really can't. But what I can safely assess is that I have to use the logic that I have. Nameless was able to beat TK at the local eBash tournament with some other players. It was a pickup team, but still, nonetheless, he was not on Curse Las Vegas, and they were able to beat TK. Yes, the event ran to 3 a.m. in the morning. I think maybe 5 a.m. in the morning. And they had to play 2 best-of-5 series. Regardless of that, I still believe that Curse Las Vegas is just better. Curse Las Vegas, there's times online where I haven't even been coaching. I've just been watching, so that may be a factor, right? Like, I may suck at coaching. There's times online where I think they're inhuman. Like, I really do. I think they're just absolute fucking robots. They're communicating well. Everything's working out perfectly to them. And it's crazy to say. Like, I know Nameless is the captain of the team, but it's Tosh. And by Tosh, I mean Stainville. Stainville does so much for this team. He's basically calling the shots. I can't tell you how many times he's been just yelling at both Haggy and Nameless to push through. Like, domination is like Stainville's domain. He is it. We listen to his play calls. If he says flank through and push C and grab C, we grab C. If he goes go B, we go B. Like, that's it. Like, there's very few players across all scenes of the games who have that ability to make all three members of their three other teammates listen to exactly what they're saying without question. Stainville has that. Now, is it going to be an easy matchup versus TK? Absolutely not. TK, they're search and destroy gurus. I'm assuming their domination's good just because Sharp and everything's there. Sharp and, I mean, they're great players, but I'm going to go ahead and advance Curse. Now we come down to the lower half of the bracket. And so as we take a look at it, that's going to be Soar taking on Curse Las Vegas in the semifinals. Complexity is waiting to see the winner of Optic and Envious. Now, Envious is a team who's been waiting for this matchup. They have wanted to play Optic for a very, very long time. This is Merc taking on Optic, right? Like, Merc gets dropped from Optic, joins Envy, sees a little bit of success at Gfinity, falls short at UMG, as Optic then takes second at Full Sail. Like, these are the storylines here, right? Like, is JCap better than Merc? Like, is Optic more well-rounded than Envy? Like, these are the storylines here. And I have to say, from what I've seen of Optic online, I don't know. I think Envious is going to take this. I really do. But the one factor that's different here, and I will say, I will account for this, is that Optic, no matter where they go, they have home field advantage. That, my friend, is fucking huge. They're going to get simple kills and the crowd's going to erupt. They're going to win search and destroy rounds and the crowd is going to go crazy. But the thing is they are going against Envious. And as everyone knows, the EOD crew is just as wild. Nah, not just as wild. They're wild, but they're not as wild as Optic. But it's going to be a battle between these two teams. I can see Hex and like Hasher sitting front row in the middle, just like sipping on mimosas, just itching to see who wins this. It's going to be a fucking battle for the ages. It really is. But I think it comes down to who shows up. And like, that sounds like such a cop-out bullshit answer. Based online, I would give it to Envy. I really would. But there's sometimes that there's one thing that's like a recurring theme, is that teams who end up doing very well online go into LAN and they end up just saying like fuck it. Like, they're like, oh, we're expecting to win this, right? Optic has everything to prove. Although they have the fans, they have everything in the scene, right? Like, they're it. They still have everything to prove to the competitive scene, because the competitive scene is always just like, oh, Optic just plays fucking Minecraft. It's like, what? So they still have everything to prove, and if there's one player I know who wants it a lot, it's Nadeshot. Nadeshot, I'm not sure if he's ever won. No, he has. He won COD Champs. Never mind. Excuse me. Pause. Rewind. Reset. Nadeshot really wants to win, and I think this whole team is itching for it. So it's gonna come down to who shows up. If you put a gun to my head right now and said pick, I would say Envy. Moving forward. So that is going to be Complexity taking on Envy, and then Curse Las Vegas taking on Soar. I'm looking at my notes and I have to like fucking squint. Both of those matchups are going to be insane. I don't know. I don't want to go any further than this. And the reason why I don't want to go any further is this, because one, I don't want to jinx my team. And two, I feel like the semifinals is going to determine a lot. I mean, everyone knows, like, the one thing in tournament history that, like, is a staple is there's a lot of times where a team catches fire going through the losers bracket, right? And what happens is they win that losers bracket semifinals matchup, and they have all the hype in the world. This could be Optic, this could be any of the teams already. They have all this momentum coming through the losers bracket, and then they find themselves against a weakened opponent from the winners bracket finals, because the winners bracket finals is so much momentum. I mean, I know for a fact if it's Curse Las Vegas taking on Complexity in the winners bracket finals, and we get like 3-0'd, right, by like Complexity, and we find ourselves in the losers finals coming up against a fucking smoking hot team coming through the losers bracket who've won like 3 matches, just 3-2, 3-1, 3-0s, right? and they have all the momentum in the world, and we're sitting there down and dejected with our fucking hands in our head. Obviously, that's my job to kind of get them back on set, right? But even still, there's only so much someone can take. You go from that immediate loss into another matchup. It takes a lot. I could very well see that happening. And same thing, flip side, right? If we beat them, or if SOAR beats them, or whatever it is, and Complexity finds themselves in the loser's bracket finals, I could still very well see them getting knocked out for the same thing. I mean, when you get tested at that MLG, when you have those runs, that is when you are really tested as a pro player. Now, other than that, here's the bracket one more time. If you have your brackets and you have your predictions, let me know. I would love to know your top 3. Right now, I have 4 out of the top 6 teams. My 4 out of top 6 are going to be Complexity, SOAR, Curse Las Vegas, and Envy. The other 2 remaining, and the winner is still to be decided. Other than that, I love you, but I don't love you. Take it easy. Ah, shit, I forgot one more thing. Root for Curse Las Vegas this weekend. Team Savages. Rest in pieces. And I can't, the mouse is stuck. There it is.